Recently, This is America and the World visited the Sultanate of Oman in the Middle East. Oman borders on Yemen, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates. Qatar and Iran are also in the neighborhood. You may not know about Oman or confuse it with Amman, the capital city of Jordan, but you should know about this unknown treasure in the Middle East. In an area of controversy, conflict, and war, Oman is a safe country at peace with its neighbors and itself. Oman is incredibly friendly and stunningly beautiful, a modern country that holds on to its culture and traditions. These next few programs will confront some of the misconceptions about the Arab world and show why Oman's foreign policy of peace is important to the region, the United States, and the world. On this program, U.S. Ambassador Mark Sievers tells us about the historic and important friendship between the United States and Oman, and we'll learn about the unique and successful foreign policy of peace and non-intervention in a very special conversation with Oman's minister responsible for foreign affairs. This is America visits Oman. This is America and the World is brought to you by Japan, history, hospitality, and advanced technology, sharing tomorrow. The Republic of Haiti. The League of Arab States. The Sultanate of Oman. The Rotendaro Family Trust, the Forerunner Foundation dedicated to forward-thinking public policy, and the Embassy Series uniting people through musical diplomacy, presenting international artists in diplomatic settings. Similar to sitting down for an interview in Washington with the Secretary of State, I had the opportunity in Oman to engage in a warm and philosophical conversation with His Excellency Yusuf bin Alawi bin Abdullah, Oman's minister responsible for foreign affairs. So what would you say is the philosophy of Oman?
Peace and peace. For those nations who share with us peace meaning and peace thought and peace ideology.
So your philosophy is don't get involved in other people's business.
Certainly true, yes. We don't involve ourselves in other nation businesses.
Is the other side of the coin don't tell us what to do?
No, in other coins we not accept anyone to interfere in our internal affairs.
So it's friendship.
It's friendship, could be partnership, could be all type of peaceful rules or peaceful mechanism.
So if we look on that map and see Oman, peaceful with Iran, peaceful with Saudi Arabia, peaceful with Qatar, peaceful with Yemen.
Peaceful with Israel.
Israel?
Yeah. With Egypt. With the United Kingdom, with China, with the United States, with all nations.
The Prime Minister of Israel was just here?
He was here, yeah.
How do you see that visit, and how do other Arab countries see that visit?
Well, I think he has a problem to face in the Arab mindset. And the Arab mindset, they have a problem to face in the mindset of the Israelis. So we are trying to figure out how we can resolve those different mindset. We go back into say, this is not a priority. The priority is to develop a mechanism which makes people accept the principles of peace and coexisting.
So what I hear is Prime Minister Netanyahu and His Majesty the Sultan had a long conversation. Do you think that can lead to peace between the Palestinians and the Israelis?
It can be, and it can be not. Because I think both nations, the Palestinian nations and the Israeli nation, they are always talking about the past, inherited, the ownership of land. And that is, if they thought to that type of narrow type of corridors, that narrow, they cannot make them both to go use it. They have to make a wider corridor for both of them to use for the future. So the question is, if they're really interested in making peace, they should look to the future and do not talk about the past.
Is that true for both sides?
This is what we feel. If both sides wants to have a wider corridor to live with Palestinians and Palestinians with the Israelis, they should completely forget about the past and look to the future. One question should be raised and be asked both sides. How much they want to see their children 50 years from now. Do they want to see them like children 10 years ago? And of course, there is no answer to this. But we have an answer. It's a must to live together. Because if we take the land of the Palestinian state, which is the West Bank, based on the border of 67, then from Jerusalem to the Tel Aviv on the coast of Mediterranean, it's 12 kilometers length.
I'll trust you.
Then in 50 years' time, in the normal circumstances, this will be one city, or it will absorb the Palestinians' cities and the Israeli cities. It become big, as much as London right now. Should they be willing to resolve it today before it become that complicated, or leave it for 50 years? Which is the best?
Oman has a reputation as a peacemaker, or trying to assist in making peace?
Well, this is what I told you at the beginning. Yes, this is our strong belief.
So when people say Oman is kind of the Switzerland of the Middle East, do you like that phrase or no?
We don't claim that.
You don't claim that?
We are satisfied with what we are.
Uh-huh. Do you take an active role in the region?
Depends on how you describe the active role.
Are you participating, say, for example, in helping resolve the situation in Yemen?
We're trying our bit, because this is situation we cannot run away, because they are our neighbors.
Yes.
So for that purposes, we are doing what we can do, but we can help those situations in Yemen.
Do you think there'll be, peace in Yemen?
Peace eventually happening.
It will.
Yes. It's like the wars or violence. It's always possible.
Yes.
As well as peace is also always possible.
Do you see
nothing static. Nations, they roll on. Nothing permanent.
Do you see peace in Yemen soon?
Depends on how to categorize soon. Certainly, it's not tomorrow next week.
No?
No.
2 years, 5 years, 10 years?
Well, I don't know. I don't predict. I believe that it is very complicated. Parties to the crisis, looking for the world to help them out.
So, if I'm hearing you correctly, it doesn't make any difference to you if it happens in your lifetime or my lifetime.
It's not of our wish. It's the wish for those people who are involved in the war.
But it may...
One day they will find that they have no ammunition. They stop the war. One day they say they suffered a lot of casualties, then they surrendered.
Time to end.
Time to end.
So you say that it will all happen eventually?
Of course it will happen, of course, yes.
So do you see a situation where hundreds of years from now we're living in a peaceful world?
A peaceful world doesn't mean that excluding wars. Because the world cannot live without wars.
Why not?
Because this is the nature of the people, of the conventions of the future.
Of human beings?
Yeah.
So there will always be war?
There always a situation which causes wars.
So as you look at the Middle East...
Not only, you see what is happening...
No, but I mean all over.
See what is now between the United States and China.
Mm-hmm.
It's economic war.
Yes.
So this was kind of wars. They can avoid it, yes, they can avoid it. But why they didn't avoid it? So this is the life. You have to enjoy it and you have to suffer. Both sides.
Both sides of the coin. How do you see the relationship between Oman and the United States?
Excellent. Yes. For almost 40 years, since we started this direct connections, direct talks, and direct, we have not seen a single problem has been created to make an obstacles in the way of the relationship.
What are some of the ways that the countries work together?
It is in the security. What has meet us very well because we are protecting peace and peace everywhere. So that sector of the relationship is very important for us.
Is there something we can learn from you?
If you like, yes. You have made a peace with your neighbors. Others to do the same thing, make peace with their neighbors.
Thank you, Excellency.
All the best.
Good to be with you.
Alhamdulillah. Thank you.
The relationship between Oman and the United States actually goes back several hundred years. Ambassador and Mrs. Sievers invited us to the residence of the U.S. ambassador in Muscat. Ambassador Sievers has represented the United States in postings in Egypt, Iraq, Israel, and Algeria, and presented his credentials to His Majesty Sultan Qaboos in January 2016. Tell the folks at home 3 things they should know about Oman.
Well, Oman is one of our oldest partners in the Arab world. We have relations going back to about 1830 when we signed a treaty of amity and commerce. The first Omani ambassador arrived in New York Harbor in 1840, and that was quite a long journey in those days by ship. So they're old friends and good friends. We now have a free trade agreement which is contributing to our economic prosperity, and we're contributing to theirs. And they're a great partner in helping resolve regional disputes.
So the relationship between the two countries is solid, huh?
Relationship is solid and long-standing, and I think it will continue to grow.
We're going to put a map on the screen and just walk us a little through the neighborhood, the neighboring countries.
Sure. Well, Oman is on the southeastern corner of the Arabian Peninsula. It's bordered on the south by Yemen, which I think people know is a scene of a war between the legitimate government and the Houthi rebels, the government supported by Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates and a broader coalition. To the north, Oman is bordered by the United Arab Emirates. A lot of people have heard about Dubai. Dubai is a fairly short visit, even by road from Muscat, in about a 45-minute flight. And then to the northwest, Oman is bordered by Saudi Arabia. Across the Sea of Oman, of course, there are a number of other major regional powers, Iran, and then to the south, Pakistan and India, which are all within a relatively short sailing distance.
So people would look at this area and see it as an area of some crisis, some chaos. How does Oman keep its mission of just being a peaceful country in this area?
Well, I would say it's quite an accomplishment, and I will give the credit largely to His Majesty Sultan Qaboos, who has from the beginning had a policy of reaching out to everyone around the world and making Oman an effective mediator when Oman's assistance is requested. At the same time, Oman does not interfere in the internal affairs of its neighbors, and I think that's appreciated as well.
It seems rather odd when, kind of coming from an American point of view, to hear that a country is run by a sultan.
Yes.
But he has brought this country forward, the growth of this country, the stability of this country, since he took over in, 1970 or so?
Since 1970. Yes, that's absolutely right. And I think he's done it by being inclusive and being strategic in choosing his partners and bringing different factions and tribes and regional groups that historically in Oman have been in conflict with each other, and bringing them all into the government and into key decision centers.
People have said that he's used his resources, and when they say resources, I'm saying probably oil, right?
Right.
Very, very well, because they have less than other countries in the neighborhood, huh?
That's right. I mean, Oman is not as big of an oil exporter as some of its neighbors, but the oil revenue that they have has gone very much into investment in infrastructure, in education, and in public health. And you can see that in the country as you travel around. They have an amazing system of roads, for instance.
I am knocked out at how beautiful the road system is here. And when we're talking about roads, we're talking about cutting through mountains.
Exactly.
And the natural beauty of this country is just amazing, huh?
Absolutely, Dennis. And if I could put in a plug for tourism, we estimate that about 65,000 Americans visit Oman annually. I don't have the breakdown between tourists and business visitors, but I would guess that maybe 2/3 of those are tourists. This is a wonderful place to visit. It's safe, it's secure, and it has magnificent natural beauty and diversity, from sandy beaches to high mountains. To open desert, and one of the most remarkable things in the south, when you get the monsoon season in July to September, the desert turns completely green, and it's a different ecosystem than this part of the country to the north.
Let's talk a little bit about the economy here and specifically the economic relationship between our country. You mentioned the free trade agreement. Is
Right.
that being well used? Is it being optimized? How do you see it?
I think it is. We're approaching the 10-year anniversary next year of the free trade agreement, and we'll be working with the Omani government on a number of events to highlight the achievements of the agreement. But just let me cite a statistic. In the third quarter of this year, we estimate that bilateral trade has reached $2.7 billion. That's up, I think, from around $1 billion 10 years ago when bilateral trade. So that's quite a significant increase. I think that will continue to increase. The United States is also, I believe, the 5th largest source of foreign direct investment in Oman. Omani sovereign wealth funds invest heavily in the United States as well, in high tech and in education. And so both countries benefit from that. And as a result of the free trade agreement, of course, American products entered Omani markets duty-free. Also, American businesses can establish themselves here without an Omani partner if they choose. And Oman has a very well-established rule of law and property rights, so it's a good, safe place to invest.
What do you see as your mission here as U.S. Ambassador? And thank you for your service.
Thank you very much. Look, I think all American, I'm a traditionalist about diplomacy. I think the role of an ambassador is to represent the government of the country that you come from, to represent the interests of the United States, but also to be a public face of the American people and to engage people as much as possible, to connect with the society whenever you can, but also to obviously promote our views and our policies. So it's a combination of things, but and promoting business and investment is certainly part of that mix as well.
And just coming here, I turned on the television set in the hotel and saw BBC News and CNN News, and it was all coming at me so frantically. And all of a sudden, here we are in Oman, and there just is a harmony, a peacefulness, a tranquility that is just so relaxing to be here.
Yeah, I really couldn't agree more, and that's a great point. It's hard to convey to people who haven't been here.
Yeah.
But there really is a sense of calm in Oman that is very hard to find in the world today.
It is.
In the middle of a modern country with all of the consumer goods and infrastructure that you would expect anywhere else, but there is a serenity about life in Oman that is very special, and I appreciate that you highlighted that.
Thank you. Mr. Ambassador, thank you for your hospitality.
Dennis, my pleasure.
So good to be with you.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for serving our country.
Thank you. My pleasure. Thanks.
Special thanks to the Grand Hyatt Hotel, the Crown Plaza, the Arabian Oryx Camp, the Anantara Al Jabal Al Akhdar Resort, and Oman Air. For information about This Is America and the World, and to watch all of our programs, visit our website, thisisamerica.net, and look for us on Facebook and Twitter. You can listen to all of our ambassador interviews on our podcast, The Ambassador Series. It's available on our website and iTunes. This is America and the World is brought to you by Japan, history, hospitality, and advanced technology, sharing tomorrow. The Republic of Haiti. The League of Arab States. The Sultanate of Oman. The Rotendaro Family Trust. The Forerunner Foundation, dedicated to forward-thinking public policy. And the Embassy Series, uniting people through musical diplomacy, presenting international artists in diplomatic settings.